Good afternoon and welcome back to TMNtv News. I'm Alicia Fireherm and the date is September 19th, 2022. First, we'll take a look at some of the top stories from last week, as well as some local news. The Queen was laid to rest today at Windsor Castle. More than 2,000 people were in attendance. The Queen and her parents were reunited in Windsor. Expected to be one of the biggest live TV events in history, it's expected that 4.1 billion people tuned in to watch the ceremony today. Rail companies and unions met a tentative agreement to avoid a strike Thursday. Biden says it's a big win for the workers and companies. Now the deal goes to the heads of the union members for a ratification vote. The workers have won several concessions they were seeking, including more flexible work hours, better pay, and time off for medical appointments. The Emmys were last Monday. The award show made history with award winners like Lee Jung-jae, the lead from the hit Netflix series Squid Game, who became the first person from a foreign language show to win Best Actor in a Drama. From HBO's Euphoria, actress Zendaya also broke ground when she won the award for Outstanding Lead Actress. This made her the first Black woman to win that category twice and the youngest actor to win an acting statue twice at the Emmys. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and the High Plains Mental Health Center hosted the Out of the Darkness Walk on Saturday. With its goal to reduce stigma around mental health and suicide, participants walked around downtown Hays and speakers gave their thoughts on mental health in our community. Here's what former Fort Hays president Ed Hammond had to say.
About 44,000 each year, individuals in our country, in the USA, that commit suicide. So you have some idea of the scope of the problem, and it's not just a Hays problem. It's not just a problem for Kansas. It's not just a problem for our country. It's a worldwide problem.
The weather around western Kansas has been hot, but we only have a couple more days of summer weather before the temperatures cool off. Wednesday will be the first day of the cooler temperatures as it will get down to the 70s. It will stay that way until Saturday with a high of 86. Sunday and Monday of next week will also be in the 70s. When we come back, Reagan Neufeld with sports.
We know you'll love what you see here on our campus in Hays, America.
With over 200 academic programs, small classroom sizes, and a 96% success rate, we will make sure you get the tools you need to succeed.
We are proud to offer you 120 clubs and student organizations, over 300 different intramural activities, and countless other ways to get involved here on campus.
As the most affordable four-year institution in the entire state, we are excited to offer you the best value in education anywhere. Not to mention our robust scholarship programs to help minimize that stress of paying for college.
We hope you enjoyed Tiger Nation, and we can't wait for you to see yourself here.
The average person uses around 100 gallons of water per day. With only 3% of the water on Earth being freshwater, it is important to be mindful of how much you are using. Turning off the sink while you are brushing your teeth is an easy way to conserve water. It is also important to never leave running water unattended. Replacing leaky faucets is another easy way to cut down on water usage. Also, adjusting the load size on your washing machine will ensure that water is not being wasted. Do your part to help conserve water.
Welcome back. I'm Reagan Neufeld, and here's a look at the most recent Fort Hays sports action. Both soccer teams played 2 games this last week. Starting on Thursday, the men's team traveled to Oklahoma where they took on Rogers State. Trailing 2-0, the Tigers got goals from Blake Arndt and Callum Frogson to tie the score. Neither team scored after that, resulting in Fort Hays' 3rd tie of the season. Their second game of the week took place at home against Newman. After taking a season-high 22 shots, the Tigers won 3-1. The women's team also went 1-1 on the week, beating Washburn on Friday and tying Emporia on Sunday. Montserrat Diaz scored the lone goal against the Ichabods, resulting in a 1-0 win. Diaz scored again on Sunday, as did Hannah Mayers, resulting in a 2-2 tie with the Hornets. Upcoming action for Fort Hays soccer begins on Thursday as the men take on Ouachita Baptist in Hays at 7, and then the women play on Friday at Northwest Missouri State beginning at 3 o'clock. The cross-country team ran their second race of the season Saturday, competing in the Missouri Southern Stampede. In the women's race, Gretchen Kuffel and Reagan Hodson led the Tigers, finishing 7th and 13th out of 251 competitors. As a team, the women finished 5th. The men also posted a top 10 finish, placing 9th. Grant Bradley was the lone Tiger with a top 20 finish, placing 3rd. Up next for the cross-country team is the University of Missouri Gans Creek Classic on September 30th. The men's race begins at 10:30, with the women following at 11:15. Following a loss to the University of Central Oklahoma on Friday, the volleyball team captured its first conference win against Newman on Saturday. In just their second home game of the season, the Tigers played all 5 sets against the Jets, coming from behind to win the last set 15-13. Micah Eschball led the Fort Hays offense with 15 kills, while Emily Ellis recorded 7 blocks and Riley Tinder totaled 21 digs. The win brings the Tigers to an overall record of 6-1 and 1-3 in conference play. Their next game is this Friday against Central Missouri in Warrensburg starting at 6 o'clock. The football team captured its first win of the season Saturday. The Tigers traveled to Jefferson City to take on Lincoln, who they beat 51-14. After trailing 7-3 in the first quarter, Fort Hays scored 48 unanswered points throughout the next 3. The defense held Lincoln to just 246 total yards, aided by 7 tackles each from Jeremiah Jackson Trotter, Mikael Williams, and Mason Perez. On offense, quarterback Jack Dawson threw for 234 yards, connecting with Hunter Budke for 103 of those yards on 3 receptions. The Tigers are now 1-2 on the season and will play at home this Saturday against the Missouri Southern Lions, with kickoff set for 7 o'clock. Until next week, stay up to date on all Fort Hays athletics on TigerMediaNet.com. When we come back, Alicia will have more news, but before we go, here's a look at this week's athletic schedule.
Teachers today are finding new ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
When you transfer to Fort Hays State University, you discover unmatched affordability, convenience, and powerfully supportive faculty and staff, all with a determination that matches yours. Complete your degree and leap forward in your life and career with Fort Hays State University Online. The best value in education anywhere.
Welcome back. We'll now look at some of the events that happened here on campus. Fort Hays students gained a green thumb as well as a better understanding of mental health last week on the quad. Reporter Kerrigan Hutton has the story.
Last Thursday, Fort Hays students were lined up on the quad for a new and unique event put on by the Health and Wellness Services. Called Planting Happiness, students got to pick out their very own plant and design a pot for it. Students were also given affirmation cards that they could include with their plant to remind themselves to take importance in their mental health. I caught up with Marissa Moore, who told me why events like these mean a lot to her.
Plants are just, like for me, they just look really pretty, and so they make me happy because I like looking at pretty things and green things. But I think it says something about taking care of a plant and keeping something else alive is like a little sense of accomplishment. I think with everything going on in like your personal life, everything you have to do in the world in general, it's really easy to get burnt out. And life is just exhausting, so it's important to take care of yourself and do things that fill your tank so you can keep functioning.
One of the runners for this event, Bree Bradshaw, explained the initiative of the event and what its goal is for students.
So this is a health and wellness initiative to practice self-care and mindfulness by transferring your own care to a plant. For some people, it's easier to take care of a plant than it is to take care of themselves, so this is one of the baby steps we take to make sure that they can practice self-care in a safe and effective way. Plants breathe a little bit differently than we do, but we're able to take care of ourselves. We both need water, we both need sunlight, we both need food. So just by those three things alone, we're able to make sure that we can take care of both ourselves and the plants. As well as, sometimes we outgrow who we are as ourselves, as plants will outgrow pots. So it's easier for us to get out of our comfort zones, repot ourselves, and continue to grow. It's okay that they may not know how to take care of a plant, as they may not know how to take care of themselves. For many, this is their first instance of being on their own. This is their first instance of taking care of themselves. And so it's a really scary process for some, but we're here to make sure that it's not as scary, as well as that they're aware of the resources we have on campus, such as health and wellness, both medical, counseling, accessibility services to make college a little bit easier on yourself, as well as food and hunger initiatives for anybody that is struggling with any food or hygiene necessities.
It was nice to see such a positive message being spread to campus and a good reminder for students just settling into the school year. For more information on the Health and Wellness Services, you can visit them on the 3rd floor at the Fishley Wills Center for Student Success, as well as fhsu.edu/health and wellness. For TMN, this is Kerrigan Hutton.
Thank you, Kerrigan. For more information and a photo gallery, visit tigermedianet.com. Last week, FHSU Intramurals hosted Super Tuesday Yard Games. Students were able to compete against each other in various yard games such as spike ball and cornhole. Super Tuesday Yard Games will be happening again tomorrow at 4:30 behind the tennis courts. On Thursday, Alpha Gamma Delta held their annual Mac and Cheese with AGD event to raise money for the Alpha Gamma Foundation, which supports Feeding America and Meals on Wheels. TMN reporter Jillian Lynch was there and has the story.
I'm Addie. I am Chapter Wellness here at Alpha Gamma Delta, and the reason I love mac and cheese is because it always puts a smile on people's faces, and we get to feed everybody who's hungry.
Okay, so this is our annual mac and cheese with AGD event. All the proceeds goes towards our Alpha Gamma Delta Foundation, which provides grants and relief towards organizations that are also trying to help fight hunger, and it's outside of our partners, which is Meals on Wheels and the Food Pantry of America, so it helps support like local food banks and other organizations like that. So we could apply on behalf of our local food banks here for grants from the Alpha Gamma Delta Foundation. And we just eat mac and cheese, have a good time, and sometimes play in the rain when it rains. So.
My favorite part was obviously the mac and cheese because that was pretty good.
I'd have to say the mac and cheese, yeah.
The house tour was also really cool. This is a really dope house. What the heck was that?
Thank you, Jillian. And that's a wrap on today's TMNtv News. To stay up to date with local, state, and national news, visit tigermedianet.com as well as our social media pages. Thank you for watching. I'm Alicia Fireherb, and we'll see you next time.